Green Bay Packers, Colin. Interesting pick here.
Interesting.
So they probably have one of the deepest wide receiver groups in the league.
But Watson got hurt.
Watson keeps getting hurt. And they drafted Matthew Golden out of Texas. Now, I like Golden a lot. I thought he was going to Dallas. A lot of love for the Texas wide receiver. Super fast. I think he ran a sub 4.40. Yeah. It was the first time since 2002 Green Bay took a wide receiver in the first round. Somewhere
They
Aaron
never
Rodgers
do
was
that.
cursing under his breath.
They don't take offensive linemen or receivers usually.
Yeah. So let's look at the Packers wide receiver room, okay? Jaden Reed is a stud. He's almost like a Golden. Romeo Dobbs, possession guy. Christian Watson is very good, but
he hurt a lot.
Hurt a lot.
And also they have the other kid,
Wicks,
who's there's something there. He's wildly inconsistent.
Yeah, he is big body receiver. They might have the best wide receiver room in the league.
Here's my thing. In Green Bay, I trust. I trust them. I think last 20 years they draft as well as anybody. I'm going to take their word for it. A receiver with an offensive coach and a capable quarterback. I trust the Packers.
There was some thought that they would go Will Johnson because Jair Alexander is on his way out.
But Golden's a more dynamic athlete.
Golden's really good.
Yeah, no, he wasn't he the guy at the combine that tore it up?
Oh, he was a monster.
He was a burner.
And he's excellent at Texas. There's a lot to like about this Packers team.
I don't have a problem. Chicago's loaded up on offense. Minnesota's got offensive players. This is an offensive division.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You've got to score points.
Would it surprise you if the Packers finished fourth in the division or first?
No. They're not finishing fourth.
Again, it's a really tough division.
No, it's a great division.
Give me the division right now, the order for again, a long way to go, but still.
I don't want to. It's going to be really good.
Are you afraid?
Detroit's got the best personnel, but I think Chicago's going to be.
So you have Minnesota last.
I think I do.
Okay,
All right. Let's talk about this. I'm not going to try to figure out the order of this division right now. We'll save that for another day. So this is why they drafted a wide receiver, because Jordan Love was top 5 in drop passes, and it would be even higher. He didn't even play the full season, which we know he was obviously injured. And you're looking at, like, we could see Joe Burrow, for instance, had 27 drop passes compared to Jordan Love. But when we look a little bit closer, we see that Jordan Love had 425 pass attempts. Joe Burrow had 652 pass attempts. One of these is not like the other. So, it's interesting because the media, what I noticed, loves the receiving core from for the Packers. But the Packers fans, I'm all up in the comment section. The Packers fans, not so much. They like the receivers, obviously, but they don't feel that they truly have a true number one wide receiver. It felt to me that they were very unhappy about receiving. They're very high on Jordan Love still, and they're just kind of like, get him someone more consistent. You need people that are healthy on the field, can catch the ball. Boom, there you go. End of story. This team will pop. And so I think when you're talking about someone like Jordan Love, they gave him a great defense. They gave him a great run game. And this is what we got, right? This is what we saw the Packers do for the last 2 years. And it's like, it's good. You can win some games, a little inconsistent, a little up and down. Give him a dude that can get after it, who can become a true bona fide, the potential, obviously, a true bona fide special wide receiver. And we know, like I said, there's not a single throw that Jordan Love cannot make on the field. I mean, the dude can throw falling off with just his pinky toe, no weight, but just on his pinky toe. And he could just, with the flick of the wrist, throw the ball to the back of the corner of the end zone. I mean, and there's no throw that he's willing to not make either, which is also the slight problem for him. But we know he wants to just let it rip all over the field. So it's like, try to build this receiving core that is T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. You combine that with the legitimate defense and a running game, and you have an elite team. You have a special. I mean, just imagine how dangerous the Bengals would be if they actually had a legitimate, consistent defense and just a consistent run game. It's just like, what do you do in that? You're like, how do you stop them? And if you actually get yourself in a position when you don't need to throw all over the field And you can just be smooth and just live by checkdowns. And like I keep saying, feed the tight ends, feed Kraft. Like I'm all about that. I've already made my whole video about that. Your offense just becomes so much more dynamic, so much more spread out. It just becomes so much easier for Jordan Love to be a distributor rather than this live and die playmaker. And that's what always drove me crazy about this offense, especially last season, this past season. That it was just very much like, rather just going to really try to run the ball to our best of our abilities, or we're going to have Jordan Love just let it rip. And it was just too extreme. And in all my videos, I always reference the game against the Miami Dolphins in Thanksgiving. And to me, that was always the perfect game. I mean, I just loved how this game unfolded. I loved the balance between running the ball, 25 carries, 114 yards, 4.6 yards per carry. Jordan Love, 21 for 28, 274 yards, 9.8 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns. They fed Kraft, like I was saying, 6 receptions, 78 yards. Reed, 2 touchdowns. It was just highly efficient. 3 receptions, 2 of those being touchdowns. Working the ball to Jacobs for 74 yards. Watson, Wicks. Like, it was just so balanced, so smooth, so effortless. It wasn't just live and die by the big play. They had a lot of these short plays, but still took their shots, still didn't abandon the run game, was still smart about it, was still very consistent. And I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. And that was a day when there was some bad football being played, and I was like, that is the game. That is how I want to see the Packers continue to play. And I think when you get someone like a Golden, your hope is that can become so much more reliable and more consistent, that you are going to have so many more games that are like that Miami Dolphins game so much more consistently. When you can really have an organized, consistent threat with not only someone like a Golden, but then also Kraft, have that balanced out with a very potent and physical run game with a high-level defense, you're just going to be in every single game. And when you have a quarterback like Jordan Love, again, you're always going to have a puncher's chance, especially if you give him the wide receivers to work with. And so it's like, if you can get him to settle into a more game manager role where he can kind of just win these games with a little bit less effort, so to speak, but then also understand that, hey, this game is getting away from us, or this game is clearly going to be a high-scoring, aggressive game, then this is what you have. It's very kind of Philadelphia Eagles, where it's kind of like, hey, we're not going to rely on Jalen Hurts to just, throw like Joe Burrow every single game. But just the sheer fact that we prove that we can do that and that we have the threat to do that, we can lean on our defense, we can lean on our run game, and when the game calls for it, we can obviously attack you downfield. And we can also just really feed our tight end. We can move the chains. And again, this was the Miami Dolphins game. It was just, go watch the highlights of that. It was arguably one of the most perfect games all season from my viewpoint. I just remember watching that game and just thinking, this is football. This is high level football. They were 3 for 5 in the red zone. They were scoring so fast. They only had the ball for 26 minutes, scored 30 points. It was beautiful. They had 53 plays compared to the Miami Dolphins 65. Yet 19 first downs to 21 first downs, 7 rushing first downs, 11 passing first downs, and then again, you got the Miami Dolphins with 20 passing first downs, and again, yet you have a score that's 30-17. It was such a one-sided game, and it's because the Packers were just playing so efficient, so consistent. I just loved it, honestly. And it's just like, I want to see more of that. And I love just what someone like Golden can do to open up the field for Tucker Kraft. Exactly what we saw with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. It's also kind of a copy and paste situation there. Okay. Like, just look and see how Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill worked with one another. You can clearly win some games that way. You can clearly win some games. That's what I'm excited for. That's what I'm looking for. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Packers drafting wide receiver Matthew Golden as their first wide receiver in the first round since 2002? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.